So, the flight model in Star Citizen. I don't know exactly what to think other than... Oop, I just ran into something. I don't really... There's kind of this, it isn't a 6 degree of freedom game. And, yes and no. The thing is, the flight computer is calculating trajectories with 6, basically, degrees of input, meaning you can fly in 6 different directions. Yaw, pitch, roll, and then strafe, vertical, horizontal, and then backwards and forwards. And what it's doing is it's calculating which vectors of those inputs you need to then do whatever control input that you give it. So it's using 6 degrees of freedom to calculate, basically translate that into 3 degrees of freedom with just a basic joystick or HOTAS type setup here when you got pitch, yaw, and rolled in coupled mode. Then when you switch to decoupled mode, you have access to, I believe, 5 of the axes or 4 of the axes. I think it might be 4 of the axes, because then you can strafe up, strafe down, or strafe up and down, strafe left and right. You have pitch and yaw still, but I do not believe you have roll or access to your main thruster, other than you do have space brake. So, go to decoupled here. See, I can use a space brake, but that just, I tap it and I go to 0. So, I'll uncouple. Now I'm trying to move my throttle on my CH stuff, and nothing happens. Here I am, controlling it with a throttle in coupled mode. So we don't have independent control over the 6 axes right now as we would in other games. I think people were expecting it to honestly be more like Evercron Mercenary or Diaspora or Elite Dangerous, where you do have independent control over all 6 axes basically at the same time. Diaspora, it was toggleable. They had what they call glide mode, which is essentially the same as decoupled in this game. Now, I think you also have to turn off ComStab as well in order to get access to some of that. So, it may be very well, it's 5 degrees of freedom, but you can't use all 6 independent axes at the same time. And that has a lot of people frustrated. To be frankly honest with you, the game plays quite a bit, or very much how I was expecting, especially with a joystick and HOTAS system. It plays very much like the old Wing Commander games, which is what I was expecting and what I was wanting. Honestly, where I have more of an issue is in the balance of the control schemes. And I will also say that right now, having unbindable controls really hurts this game. Because, to give you an example, there's some design decisions on some of the axes mapping, especially with like the X52. It just doesn't make any sense. For instance, when I go into decoupled mode, okay, this is what my rudder pedal does right now on coupled. Decouple it and it becomes yaw. Well, that's playing havoc with my muscle memory right now because I hit decoupled, expect my inputs to work the same way, and they don't. That's annoying, but once we get rebindable keys, that should be a very easy fix without having to go in and hack an XML file or deal with it in Control Manager. So I think I thought I would kind of post a clarification on that it is calculating 3 things in 6 degrees. It's just you don't have independent control, over all the axes. Now, CR has said that we will eventually get true 6 degrees of freedom. That likely you'd have to buy different avionics packages and stuff like that to customize your experience. So I'll take a wait-and-see approach on that. I think the biggest issue the game has right now is balance of controllers with mouse versus keyboard and joystick and HOTAS and controller users, because as it stands right now, they're really trying to, I think, placate 2 very separate communities, those of us who were Wing Commander players from back in the day, and those who are freelancer. And as they're trying to do right now, they're trying to have their cake and eat it too, to where the Wing Commander guys, we get our flight model here with the joysticks, but the folks who are wanting a more arcadey experience from Freelancer have that with mouse and keyboard. And it's just not going to be competitive in multiplayer. Sorry, but in order for things to be truly balanced, all functionality has to kind of work the same. And I bring up Elite Dangerous in this because that's how Elite does it, and does it quite well, where you have to still fly and line up your nose on target before the gimbaled weapons automatically take over, but the gimbaled weapons automatically fire for everyone. Mouse and keyboard users right now can fire and aim and fly at the same time, and that's just a huge advantage that joystick users can't do. So that needs to kind of be resolved. I haven't shot this many rocks since I was playing Battlestar Galactica Online. Ooh. But yeah, I would like to see 6 degree. I would love to be able to control strafing thrusters while flying. Right now in coupled mode, it would mean that I would make I wouldn't have as many problems avoiding certain wrecks and debris from killing Vandals in Vandal Swarm, that's for sure. I could hug asteroids and stuff closer, fly more like I'm used to in Diaspora. The whole decouple mode to get there doesn't really bother me as much. I'm used to it from Diaspora. I already have a key mapped to where it toggles it. It's not so long as I'm pressing the key, just the same way I had it in Diaspora. So that's fine with me. And some of this is, you've always got to adapt your gameplay to how the in-game mechanics are. And sometimes that's even flying different ships. For instance, I prefer pitch and roll on the Aurora on my stick as opposed to pitch and yaw as I have it set up now. I like pitch and yaw to be reversed to fly the Aurora, but I like it like this on the Hornet and the 300 series. So, some of it is just figuring out what ships are good at and then matching your style of gameplay to get the most out of that ship, that configuration, or that game. So at any rate, I hope that maybe this clarifies when the devs talk about 6 degrees of freedom, what they're talking about versus what I think a lot of people expected in terms of control input and things like that. And I will now go upload this video and try to get a little extra sleep, as I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning and couldn't go back to sleep. So thank you very much for watching, and wait for some of my more videos, and should be out here soon.